Now we're going live.
Skeeto, you need to log in.
Oh.
Good evening. Welcome to the City of Arts Virtual Music Symposium. This symposium is brought to you by LEAP, Linking Everyday Extraordinary People. In the Key of G, Everett's Natural Beauty School and Salon. Hug Detroit Day. Aduni's Event Planning Bootcamp Academy. And in Bayou, it's not business as usual. Tonight's discussion features the guitar instrument. And our master guitar panelists for this evening are Ron Otis, Skeeto Valdez, Sean Dobbins, Gayelynn McKinney, Larry Fratangelo, Ron Pangborn, and our moderator for the evening is RJ Spangler. So sit back, relax, learn, and enjoy. RJ, it's all yours.
Dear drummer, Sheila.
What'd you say?
You call them guitarists, they're drummers.
Drummer.
I know. It's been a long.
Some of y'all might play guitar. I don't know. Oh wow! I try to make sure I change everything that needs to be changed. But anyway, welcome you guys. RJ, go with it.
Power in some keyboards. I don't know about anybody else here. We're starting with some of the drummers. I know Skeeto, I just talked to on the phone. He was leaving a rehearsal. He'll join us in a little bit. And Sean is on a gig at the Dirty Dog Jazz Cafe, and he's going to join us on his break. So we're starting with Ron Otis and Gayelynn McKinney, Larry Fratangelo, and Ron Pangborn. And these are some of the greatest drummers in our city. And Detroit is a town known for drummers. Mm-hmm. It's Motown. We have some of the great drummers. Now, I like to point out that we have Ron Pangborn and Ron Otis, both named Ron, and they as of late have been double drummers at the Concert of Colors.
Wow!
So you guys have been working together.
Yes, absolutely. It is the coolest thing.
How long have you two known each other?
Wow, Ron.
Long time, man.
Yeah.
Didn't we do something at the Red Wings or something like 100 years ago?
Right. It was one of the playoff games.
Yeah. Long time ago.
Yeah.
So
at Joe Louis Arena.
Yeah.
And you were doing a double drum thing then.
That was a really weird one. Yeah. We were playing along to a track that they were playing in the arena, and I don't think we had monitors. I think we just kind of were winging it.
Right. That's the truth right there.
Yep.
Now, those two drums, and what else was that situation about?
Go ahead, Ron. I have no idea.
Nah, see, you're right.
It was about a paycheck to me. I don't know.
There you go. Hey, I'm with Pangborn on that one.
Yeah.
I forgot who even called us, Ron.
I think Tim Diaz was on that hit. Anybody remember Tim Diaz, guitar player, singer?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. I think Tim was the contact. But I don't know. It got weird. And then later on, Alto Reed got involved right at the very end.
Right, at the very end of it.
Yeah, and then they sent Ron and Ron home.
Yeah.
They got Alto and they sent Ron and Ron home.
Right. Alto came out and he skated across the ring with his saxophone. So they said,
really?
The two drummers. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a wild
man. He stole the show, huh?
Yeah. It was a wrap after that.
That's right. That's showbiz.
So you guys have a long history of making music together.
Well, kind of.
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
Okay. Now, you guys both played with Was Not Was, or how does that work? I know, Ron Pangborn, you played drums and percussion at different times with Was Not Was.
Yeah, and press buttons. You know, we're talking 80s here, late 80s, so there's some button pushing going on. You know.
Okay, and
programming.
Right. Well, I came in just doing the concert of colors. That's how I came in doing the double drum thing with Was Not Was just doing the concert of colors.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, and so you do every year. It's when I don't really know Was Not Was. It's the Don Was Super Session.
Right.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And you
can't call it Was Not Was.
Right.
Yeah. Right. It's a Was, and it's
right.
A cast of a multitude of Detroit's greatest artists, really. And maybe, I don't know, do you back up artists from out of town when you do that thing, or is it always Detroit people you back up?
I think it's mostly been Detroit folks, but I don't know. What do you call Mitch Ryder? I mean, he's a Detroit guy, but he's all over the world. You know, I don't know.
He's known all around the world, but
yeah.
He's from here. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So let's dig into y'all's background. You know, Ron, Ron Otis, I know you played with Earl Klugh early on in your career.
Yeah, it's been for 20 years, to be honest with you.
Was that your first real road gig?
Well, my first real road gig was actually with the Spinners.
Oh, wow.
And it just kept going from there. I went from the Spinners to there's a guy from Detroit, another artist. His name is Keith Washington.
Sure.
And then it went from Keith Washington to Wendy Moulton.
Okay.
Wendy Moulton to Earl Klugh. I had to learn
20 years with Earl Klugh.
Yeah, 20 years. Yep. I learned Earl Klugh's music while in Japan with Wendy Moulton. So it just one thing just led to another. And it was Earl Klugh. I did some stuff with Marlena Shaw.
Okay. So now you're branching out of Detroit.
Yeah. Then Cheryl Lynn.
Okay. Cheryl Lynn.
Yeah. And then Kim. Then there was a whole bunch of recordings. I can't remember where those started at, but Mike Powell is how I got those calls for the recording sessions. So it was
right.
Yeah. So it was Nancy Wilson came through. Wow. So it was a lot of stuff, man. It was yeah. And this all
Ron,
started.
You must be a pretty good, pretty decent drummer.
I'm still working. I'm still a work in progress.
Now, Larry Fratangelo, you also spent some time on the road with Earl Klugh.
Yes, I did. I go back. What's that?
No, you talk. I'm not here to moderate. I'm not here to talk all the time.
I go back a little before Ron, so I start like in the late 70s with Don Davis, doing like Dramatics, Johnny Taylor, Albert King, things like that. And
United Sound.
Yes. And then that's where I ran into Bernie. And then
Bernie Bestman?
Bernie Worrell.
Bernie Well, okay, yeah. P-Funk, okay, yeah.
And then all the, I did quite a few records from a couple Parliament records, Funkadelic, Brides, Parlette, Horny Horn, Bootsy. I also have a solo piece on one of the albums named after my eldest son called Martino's Bounce. And we often have wondered, it came out on the side B of a Warner Brothers 45. Shockwaves was the tune they were pushing. But I have a solo percussion piece on a Warner's 45, which is...
I did not know this.
Yeah.
Sort of interesting. So after that, I came off the road and I was looking to play drums again because that's my first instrument. So I played drums with Orange Lake Drive.
Oh, wow.
Early 80s.
Woo!
Co-produced
Ross Poole. Yeah.
And then, let's see, things started up with Aretha. So we started Aretha and Earl Klugh. So through the mid 80s, through the mid 90s, I was doing Aretha and Earl. And assorted other things, recording project, Was Not Was, of course, was working with Don and all the early stuff. In fact, the first record he did was Funk Meets Rock Meets Jazz, which was Marcus Belgrave, Wayne Kramer, and myself. So
Now, which record? No, who is this band with?
That was Don's first thing he produced, I believe.
Oh, okay. And you're on that.
Yeah, the featuring Wayne Kramer, myself, and Marcus.
Oh yeah, Wayne's a friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a crazy lineup, man.
It is. That was Don's punk meets jazz meets rock thing.
Yeah.
So then after that, I mean, doing things like Red Hot Chili Peppers, because George produced Freaky Styley.
Because that was over back at United Sound.
And
I was over there one time with the Sunmasters recording, and you guys were in the other room.
Yep. Then early 90s, Eric Leeds from Prince. Yep. So they flew me out to Paisley Park, and I did the 2 of Eric's records. One of the first one is Sheila, myself, and Prince that are playing drums and percussion.
Wow.
And it's Prince's band. Then the next Eric Leeds record we did in New York with quite a lineup: Alfonso Johnson, Alex Acuna, Dennis Chambers, Mino Sanula.
Oh yeah.
So there's quite a number of Ricky Peterson playing keyboards. So there was quite a nice lineup on that one. And then we go, like I say, after that, after Aretha, I was taking some time off to work with my Drum Devils percussion group, just
Right.
in my studio I was playing around with. I have a few tunes still in the can, got to get out. And then, let's see, we would say, somehow I've been with Kid Rock for 13 years. I don't know how that happened.
Trying to pay some bills, man.
I feel like Gilligan. I said sort of quit touring so I could hang around town and play in my studio. And I did the Rock and Roll Jesus early 2007. And in August, they called me to just go out to do one tune in Las Vegas for Larry the Cable Guy show. And I had never played Las Vegas, if you can believe that. It seemed like every time something else was going on,
Yeah.
So I did. And then they called me in a couple of weeks, said, we're just doing this 2-month tour. So David McMurray and I had played on the album, and Bob was expanding the band. So he asked us to go on a 2-month tour. And as I said, just like Gilligan, a 2-month tour turned into 13 years. So
a 3-hour tour. Yeah, right.
So, and then, different things in between around town, playing on different people's stuff. And then I have my trio, Audio Birds, with James Simon and Sean Blackman.
Right.
And I golf in my old age.
Where do you like to golf?
You don't look old, Larry.
Where do you like to golf? You got a spot there in Clinton Township there you like to play?
I go anywhere. I like adventure golf. Just, it's like the walk in the park.
Okay. All right.
And I do okay, So I'm like, I'm always under 100. I'm somewhere in the low 90s.
I remember you told me one. I remember one time you told me you went out to play with Aretha at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Well, it wasn't with Aretha now. That was HB.
Who?
HB Barnum.
One of the great conductors. He was Aretha's conductor, Lou Rawls, Johnny Mathis, different people. Great conductor. Ron can attest to that. Probably both of the rounds. So, I don't know. Mr. Pangborn, have you ever worked with him?
I have not had the pleasure, no.
He is, he's the kind of conductor that, I go through the tune, but you could watch him and he, you never wrong. He'd said I don't care if it's
City of Arts.
He'd get you, he was
drummers.
Some conductors, it's how you can watch. They'll screw you up. So we had a few of those. But,
so you were with him. He was there. Okay, you were with him at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when it opened.
Well, that's a funny story too. Now that was my last gig with Aretha. Why?
That's what I thought. You told me the story.
Yes, because
tell everybody the story.
I was the only musician I found out when I went to the union to get paid twice that went around twice or came on stage twice. And how this happened, Parliament Funkadelic was there, of course, and I was there with Aretha. And I have a lot of funny stories, but they're with Aretha. So they see me, and so I'm partying with George and Dr. John and Larry Graham. And that's
you like sucks, man. Yeah.
So Larry Graham was going on with P-Funk, and Aretha, we had Al Green. So I went on with Aretha, and P-Funk said, "You're coming on with us too," you know. So I said, "Well, what the hell," you know. So as I was going, we were coming off with Aretha. I sort of just got pulled away, and then she was fanning herself in the green room and looked up, and there I was on TV, her date with Parliament Funkadelic. So that had been 10 years, so it was fine. You know, I was trying to do some other things. Anyway, so. But she still, I mean, we still got, you know, she liked me a lot. She would ask about me through other people and stuff. But I really, you know, loved her. She was, how could you not? Amazing. Never heard her hit a clunker. Just never heard it.
No.
Her, George Benson. I also, did some things with George. You know, those are people, Dennis Chambers, where just when you think you've heard it all. Watch it. Dennis and I used to do a solo as he was moving from Brides of Funkenstein up to Parliament, and I was getting ready to leave. We were doing some solos together, but we still laugh about that. I'd go up and just do my thing, then he'd be playing, and we'd play together. And to finish it up, I'd go up and in his ear, "You played that shit last night." And he would just give me that look and that smile and just about blow me back to my riser. You know, he's just the greatest. I love him, you know, very much. And whatever. So that's a few of the things. I will say one last thing. The congas, I was doing 3 tours, which never happens one summer. Aretha, Earl Klugh, and Eric Leeds. Because he was doing like jazz clubs.
He's a sax player. For those who don't know, Eric Leeds is a sax player. Yeah. Yeah,
from Prince the Revolution. So
right.
I managed to get him all in this one gig with it was with Eric, which was fine. But at that time, I believe that's when we had played the White House. If that's your time, I have to think again. And I get a call one day. We were doing 3 gigs with Aretha at different spots. So this might have been another time. But I needed like 3 sets of equipment. So I get this call one day. "Hello, is this, Larry Fratangelo, what have you? Lawrence Fratangelo?" I go, "Yes." "Hello, this is the White House calling." I'm like, "All right." Who is it really? So he says, "Look, you have a very extensive set of equipment," because back in the day, this by early 90s, maybe late 80s, maybe probably early 90s, getting like 3 sets of, and I think weekend stuff, 3 sets of congas, tamales, what I was using with Aretha, and it was all in New York. So, and I'm sorry, New York and DC. So anyway, I had a new set of equipment that LP was making for me. I like to play for most conga players, 30-inch congas. I like 28, so they chop them off. I have Galaxies chopped off, and they just finished them. So the White House said, "Do you have another set of equipment that, we'll fly it out or do whatever?" I said, "As a matter of fact, I do." So make a long story longer but short. That set of equipment, and I also played at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because I brought it out there with me, was christened in the White House Rose Garden, taken out of the boxes and played. So fun little story. So
beautiful.
Those songs are still with me. All right, that's enough. Your turn.
we have some time to kill here, brother. So don't worry about that. Okay. But we have not let the ladies speak yet. So let's move around here a little bit here. Gayelynn,
yes.
You know what? I've known you for a number of years. You, of course, we've all now he's spoken quite a bit about Aretha. You were the last drummer to be Aretha Franklin's drummer, to my knowledge. Am I right?
This is correct. Yep. Because
There you are.
I had gotten a call from Ron. And he said, yeah, you think you could play with Aretha? And I said, when? Well, it's in a couple of weeks, I think. He said, I got to go out with, I think you said that you had to go out with Earl. Is that right?
Yeah.
Earl too?
Yeah.
And I said, oh. I don't know. That's kind of quick. He said, "Oh, you can do it. Go on to this gig. You can do it." I said, "Okay." So then that gig actually did not happen, but she called me to play Shane Park. So when I got to Shane Park, there was Ron. Ron was on the drums, and I was like, "Okay, this is interesting." So I said, "Well, there's not 2 drum sets up there, so I guess."
So how did that? So what happened? You played some percussion. What'd you do?
So what happened was Javier, God rest his soul,
Right.
Javier Barrios was on drums, on percussion, and at that time he was really ill, dealing with the cancer, and I think he was trying to do that gig. He wanted to do it. He was trying to do it, and I was just sitting out there. I thought to myself, well, let me record this rehearsal, so when I do have to do it, I've already had a music to listen to. So while I was doing that, I forgot his name. Who contracts the horns, Ron? Who is that? The contracts.
Maurice?
Huh?
No, was it what, Matt?
It might have been Matt. But anyway, he comes out and tells me, "Hey, you think you can play percussion?" I said, "You mean like congas?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well," I'm looking at my hands like, "Well, if I get some tape around these fingers, I might be able to
give it a shot."
So I said, but Javier is up there. So what's going on with that? I said, you said, well, he's not doing too well, and he needs to go home, and we still need a percussionist. I said, well, are you sure? Because I don't really want to
push him off the stage or anything. Yeah.
Yeah. I said, I'm not really trying to do that. And he said, no, he really is having a hard time, and he needs to go.
He was a beautiful cat. Yeah.
I said, okay, because that was my dude. I love me some Javier, so I didn't really feel good about stepping in those shoes that day. But anyway, so I talked to Javier about it. I said, "Are you sure?" I said, he said, "Yeah, I can't do it." I said, and she needs to have a percussionist, so you can do it. I said, "Okay, Javier," and I gave him a hug, and I said, "All right." And so I ended up doing percussions that night, and then later on, I was riding down the street and on Ford Road, and I get this phone call that says no name. And I'm like, I don't answer those. So I wasn't going to answer that call. And so, but this little birdie in my head said, you should answer that call. So I did. And I said, hello, Gayelynn? Yeah. Sound like my mother, but she was no longer living, so I know it was her. I said, this is Aretha. And I sat there for a minute in silence, and she said, Aretha Franklin. I said, oh, okay. Well, let me pull over and park, because I do not want to have an accident while I'm on the phone. So I pulled over, and she rattles off, okay, so we're going to be going out on the road in about a week or so, and we're going to have a rehearsal at the Southfield Hotel over there in the Townsend, and then, the music director is going to get in touch with, and these are songs, blah, 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 blah. And I was trying to type this in my phone. I'm like, oh my God. And so she said, okay, see you soon. All right. Okay, Miss Franklin. All right, bye. Bye. Click.
That's hilarious.
And I was like, okay then. So that started the journey with me touring the last 3 years with her, and it was really a joyful time. Actually, though, honestly, I met her when I was 17 in the most odd way. My father said, "Hey, sweetheart, we have a gig this weekend," and I said, "Okay." I said, "Where's the gig?" He says, "At Aretha Franklin's house." Now this is I didn't had no idea that my father knew her at all, so I was quite shocked. And I asked him, I said, "Well, how do you know her?" He said, "Oh, we go way back. We go way back." I said, "Really?" You know, things that happen when things that you don't know about your parents because you don't bother to ask. So, I didn't know that they knew each other. So that night, I was playing with my uncle Ray and my dad.
Oh yeah,
And
I knew Ray.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we were doing a little trio hit at our house for a Christmas party. That's where I met her Cecil and her sister. God, can't get her name in my head. Carolyn.
Carolyn Franklin.
Gayelynn
Sure.
Franklin. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I met Carolyn, and it was really nice, And then the next time we ran into, well, I ran into her, I should say, is when she asked me to play. Well, her management called me that time and told me that she wanted me to play at Detroit Jazz Festival because she was doing two halves of a show. The first half was going to be the jazz half, and the second half was going to be the R&B half. So Nate was playing the R&B half, and she wanted me to play the jazz half.
Which
So
Nate?
I can't. I don't. He's the drummer Nate, her drummer that she had before.
Oh,
I
okay,
think,
yeah.
Ron.
Yeah.
Nate,
Yeah, I saw that show.
was that Nate
Not
Neblett?
that particular show, but I saw her do the half and half show. Yeah.
Was that Nate Neblett you're talking about?
I don't
Yeah, it had
think-
to been him. It was
That's it.
he played with her for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his name?
It used to be Nate that was my
Yeah.
partner, or Bernard Purdy, one of those two.
But it was
Yeah.
Nate. I know it was Nate though. It definitely was Nate.
Yeah, he's
Um,
gone. Darn it.
Yeah. Yep. So
Bernard's still with us. I just saw him playing on Facebook Live just a few days ago.
Who, Nate Neblett?
No, he's talking about
Bernard
Nate.
Purdy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Bernard's still with us. He's talking about Nate.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Bernard definitely. Yes.
Yeah.
So at the rehearsal, this was a funny story. It was me, Vernon Fales on piano, and I think Perry was on guitar, Perry Hughes. For some reason I can't remember who was on bass. But anyway, so there was this part that there was this ending that she wanted on this particular song, and we kept kind of screwing it up. And so this is when I found out she played the piano. So she got up, she said, "Okay," and she went over to the piano and she said, "Now this is what I want," and she played it on the piano. And then when she got done, she said, "Now, y'all not gonna screw that ending up anymore, right?" And we said, "No, ma'am." Oh man, we got it, we got it, and we did, we had it.
Yeah, I heard a story when she was the first time down in Muscle Shoals playing with those guys down there, and they were all kind of nervous playing with her, and then she sat down at the piano and played with them, and then the groove came together. It was the same kind of thing. She had to sit down and tell, and then once they felt how she played it, then they got it, and then from then on, she had a great feeling with that rhythm section from then on.
Yeah,
But it was her playing that piano that really put it together for them.
That's exactly what happened. And we were cool, and so I ended up doing that first half of that show, and so that was actually the second time that I kind of was in her presence like that, and I got a chance to know her a little bit that time. But then I really got to know her during this 3-year tour, which was such a wonderful experience to hang out with her, and she's she's a stickler about that music, boy, because I was a part of a massacre.
Oh yeah, there were stories. Yeah,
I was a part of a massacre. I went out on the road with her. Where was this at? Where were we going? We was New Jersey. Went to New Jersey with her, and so the music director at the time, because I think I did one show with HB because. And then he retired. He was I guess he was tired, so he retired. And so so the new director came in, and it was cool, and it was all Detroit people mostly. It was some out of town people, but a lot of the band were Detroit people. And so we went to New Jersey, and that was my comfort zone. On top of that, so we went to New Jersey, and we played this show. And doing the sound check, the horn players, now the horn players she got were contracted. They were they were from New Jersey or New York.
Yeah.
So doing the sound check, everybody's tuning up, getting their little stuff together, Justin getting ready to do this little sound check / rehearsal. So the director walked up to the stage and he said, "Okay, everybody ready?" And everybody, got quiet. But there was this one little horn player. He was still feeling around or whatever. And so the director, which, I wish he would have said it differently because it probably would have not been so edgy. But, "Hey, you, are you ready? Stop that playing." It was like, oh my God. I was like, oh God, I wish he had said it like that. And so the horn player, they stopped. And so we went on with the rehearsal. Everything was great. Rehearsal was fantastic. No problem. Everybody ran through the music, was cool. We get on that show, and the horn players act like they never had a rehearsal. And they were in different spots in the song where they were supposed to be. And things, they were just, it was horrible. And I'm thinking, and so I'm like, what's going on? They didn't play it like that at rehearsal. And I'm thinking, oh, this must be retaliation for the guy talking.
Wow. No, man.
Sabotage.
Bad news there.
Yeah, sabotage.
You don't
That was
do
rough.
that.
So the next day, I was on the road with Ralph and my cousin Carlos in Mississippi. And I get this text, and I open up the text.
Ralph Armstrong's bass player.
This is Miss Franklin, and I'm looking at the text, and it was in all capital letters. I was like, "Oh God. What do you think happened on the show last night?" I'm like, why is she asking me? I don't want to talk about it. And so I'm trying to defend, the director, because I said, well, I don't know what happened with the horns. I said, the horns played it perfectly at rehearsal. I don't know what happened during the show, but they played it perfectly at rehearsal. Then her response was, well, in capital letters, I don't pay the music director all that money for them horns to be messing up. His responsibility. I was like, oh Lord, this is all in the text. And I was like, oh God, okay. So anyway, the next show, which was about 2 weeks later, I get a call from the music director saying we're gonna meet in the lobby. Everybody meet in the lobby so we can talk about today's music, the music and rehearsal. So I'm like, okay. So I get down to the lobby, and I see people sitting around at this table, I'm looking at them. And so I sat at the next table next to them, and I'm sitting there looking around, and a guy says, "Hey, are you here? Are you one of the musicians?" I said, "For Aretha?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm the drummer." "Oh, come on over here." I'm like, who are these people? So I sat down. It was a whole new band, a whole new director. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. I said the whole band was gone except for me. And I'm like, what the hell?
And none of them were from Detroit.
No, none of them were from Detroit. No, except for me. And Brenda, and I was like, okay, well, here we go. So that was just one of the. I've seen Aretha do some very interesting things. One more story about her was.
Go ahead.
When we were in New York, we were playing at the Radio City tribute to Clive Davis, and so the guitar player that was playing with us was from New York, and so but he was the only one that lived in New York. So we did the show, and it was fun. It was a good show, and she had on this she looked really nice that day. She had a really nice dress on. So I went back there, to get paid and chat with her for a minute. And I told her, about the dress. I said, "Oh, your dress is really pretty, blah, 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 blah." She said, "Yeah, we just shooting the breeze." So the guitar player comes in and he says, and bless his heart, I know he didn't mean any harm, and I felt really bad for him, but he said, "Miss Franklin," he said, "you look great. I think that's the best I ever seen you look."
Uh-oh.
Oh, man.
Uh-oh.
I was like, "Oh, no."
Gotta give a compliment.
Oh, no. And I just went, "Oh," I just did like that. And I looked down, I was looking at the floor, and she said, "Well, apparently you haven't been around me enough." And I was like, "Oh." And that's when I held up the church finger and I said, "Excuse me." And I left. I was like, "Let me get out of here." So when we got on the van going back to the hotel, I was sitting on the van and everybody's kind of talking. And the guitar player, since he lived in New York, he didn't have to. He went on home. We was on the way to the hotel. So I said, everybody was kind of chattering, and I said, "Hey y'all, this may be the guitar player's last gig." And they was like, "Well, why?" And I said, "Well," and I told everybody what he said, and they all went, "Oh no!" Oh. And after that they started laughing, and sure enough,
it was.
He was gone.
He was gone.
Gone. I'm like, man, I feel bad though, because he really did not mean any harm. And I thought to myself though, if you're married, your wife told you what to say.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Just leave it at "you look great" and just leave it alone.
Yeah, that's all. That's it. That's all that you needed to say. That was the end.
Miss Franklin, you look so lovely today.
That's it.
That's it.
That's all you had to say. But yeah, that was quite the experience. But I'm glad I had that experience, and I wish she could have been around longer for me to keep having that experience. But it was awesome. The only other person that I would say that I had feel just as honored to have played with would have been Benny Golson.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
That was on the same kind of level as playing with Miss Franklin, and the stories that he told about, even the story that he told about how he came up with the name Killer Joe, which was pretty funny. He said that he was back in the day, he was hanging out, and well, first let me tell you how he wrote the song. This is what happened when he wrote the song. When he was writing the song, he said that he was in the house, and he kept playing these same two chords over and over and over. He kept playing those
vamp,
all day, right? And his wife, who had been listening to that all day, she came in the living room and was looking at him, and she was putting her coat on, and because it was winter, so she was putting her coat on. He said, "Hey, where are you going?" I can't take it. I can't take it. I have to get out of here. You've been playing those two chords for hours. So he said, "Oh, okay." So she left, and by the time she got back, he had finished the song, and so he played it for her. He said, "So, what do you think?" And she told him, "It's boring and monotonous. It'll never sell." It's
probably his biggest song.
So he said, 4 fur coats later,
Yeah.
she changed her mind. Yeah, he said that song had been recorded maybe 500 or more times. So imagine all those royalties he's been getting for one song, Killer Joe.
Yeah.
And
he's still with us, right?
Huh?
Benny Golson's still with us, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. He's not.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was actually supposed to go out with him March of 2020. I mean, not March, but June of 2020. Of course,
Yeah.
that died.
Yeah.
We know what happened to that.
Right.
Yeah.
You and Ibrahim would tour with him around
Yes,
regionally. With him.
yep. Ibrahim and I, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh, but he got the name for Killer Joe because he said I had to figure out a name for the song. So I was hanging out with some friends, and apparently I guess he, comes from a different, I guess, background. I guess that's the only way I could put it. Because he said he was hanging out and he saw this guy come in with two ladies on his arm, and he's all dressed up and sharp, and so he said he was talking to his friends. He said, "Hey, what's that guy do for a living?" And they said they was looking at him. He said, "What are they?" He said, "Oh, they." He said his friends, "Well, they work for him." And he was like, "Oh, so what are they? Stenographers?"
Yeah.
He said his friends were looking at him like, "No."
No.
And so he later on found out what the deal was, and he said
Professional
that,
ladies, shall we say?
yeah, special ladies, and he said that they always had these names like Killer Bob, and something real gangster like. So that's he said he can't. He said I'm gonna call it. He said the first part of the song will be called Killer. He said now I just need a name, just a common name. Yeah, I'll just Joe. That's a nice combination. And that's how he came up with the name Killer Joe.
All right.
So yeah, so that was also a very wonderful experience to be able to hang out with this legend and hear his stories of things that he had been doing. But he told a story about every song just about. So yeah.
Yeah, he's quite a guy. A great composer, great tenor sax player,
Mm-hmm.
and in that movie Terminal with Tom Hanks, that's one of the things is he's trying to get that guy's autograph because he's one of the last guy alive from that Great Dane Harlem photo, right?
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Right.
ooh, you might be right about that.
I think that's the story. That's one of the themes in that movie is he's the last guy alive from that picture.
Oh man, that's right. I saw that movie and I didn't even think about that part of it. Yeah.
He's a part of that story.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know.
No, he's in the photo. Yeah, definitely. Benny Golson is in that photo. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think he's in that storyline too. I think he's in that narrative. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he is. He was trying to get to Benny to get his autograph.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That's what that movie was. That whole movie was about him trying to get to Benny to get
Yeah.
that autograph. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you played with him, Ian Finkelstein would play piano. Finkelstein would play piano.
One time we had Radway Sharp. Yeah, I think it was mostly Radway Sharp that played with us.
And he comes from New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool. All right. Well, we still have like another hour and 15 minutes to go. So we're going to come back around to everybody here. But Ron, we've been sitting on you. So let's get to Ron Pangborn here. Well, I've known of all the people here, I've known you the longest.
That's right. I think I knew you. You were just out of high school, my brother, when I met you.
Yes, we met in about 1975 or
something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And you were playing with Shahida Narala when I first met you.
Oh wow. Yeah. At the salt mine.
The salt mine. Yes.
Downtown.
You were playing jazz.
We called it jazz. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
We did.
I remember the group had John Damberg on vibe.
Jim. Yes, it did. Wow. Jim Damberg. No, John.
No, John.
Yeah,
John.
That's right. Yeah, that's a long time ago. Rocky Tattarelli was the horn player. If anybody don't remember Rocky.
Yeah, and who's on bass? Was it
Jim Banner was playing bass?
Yeah.
Leonard Moon played piano.
Wow, yeah. Okay.
And then we had a parade of guitar players. Rocky had a hard time with guitar players, so he tried everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So. anyway.
All right, and yeah, so that was, and you, how many nights a week you got? Weekends or a couple nights a week?
No, that was like a 4 or 5 night a weeker. That was an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing.
Tell people about that club, because it was kind of a cool place.
It was downstairs. It was right on the corner of Shelby and Larned. It was just a rocking downstairs place, and at the time, they were still playing ball at Cobo Hall, at the arena there, and the ball players would stay at the Pontchartrain, and people would come to the salt mine and hang out. So it was always amazing. It was actually too amazing. You know what I mean? On some nights were like so amazing that it was like a little too amazing.
Yeah.
But the music was cool. It was a good thing. We had a real good time. And that band slowly evolved into a kind of a R&B punk rock kind of thing called the Buzztones.
Yes,
and we played.
It was Leonard Moon and you.
Right.
And Red or Jim.
Yeah, Jim. We had Gordy Maslowski playing guitar for a while, and then we got Roscoe. Y'all know Roscoe was playing guitar for us. But anyway, so the Buzztones were playing around town, and we started doing little things with Don over at Sound Suite over there. If you got a call, if the phone rang at 3 a.m, it was Don calling me up saying, "Hey man, can you bring your 808 down to the studio?" Because of course nothing, you don't want to do anything but do a session at 3 o'clock in the morning after you played a gig. So I got all involved in the Was thing, and there was a record called "Born to Laugh at Tornadoes," and he cut
I had that record.
Yeah. He cut one of our songs on that record called "Bow Wow Wow" with Mitch Ryder singing.
Sure. Yes.
And so we cut that as the the whole Buzztone band cut that track, and we ended up kind of in Don's little coterie of people, and
Lamont was on LZ.
Absolutely, yep. Lamont was on it. That was a really, really good experience for us, and so I just kind of stayed close to Don and playing around town in the Buzztones, and then one day I get a call asking me if I would like to audition. They're going to go to England for 3 weeks because a song on the next record, "Walk the Dinosaur," was a club hit in the UK.
Right.
And they wanted to go and do most of them were track dates. We weren't even going to play. We were just going to go there and mimic along with "Walk the Dinosaur" and another song called "Spy in the House of Love." Yeah. But we rehearsed a whole band together, or he wanted to put a whole band together. And I don't know if I've ever said this to anybody out loud, actually, but 2 drummers were auditioned that day. A gentleman named Buster Marbury.
Yeah, I remember Buster
and myself.
I'm sure Rob
yes, right.
Him too.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And
Great
Buster,
drummer.
a tremendous drummer, who was playing with Orthea Barnes at the time. And Buster actually got the gig. So Don called me up, said, "Yeah, we're going to give it to Buster, but you'll still be around, So that's cool. All right. Well, from what I understand, Buster went back to Orthea. They were playing at Orthea's place at the time, and I think they had like a 5 or 6 nighter going and health insurance. Right. It was a good gig, So Buster says, "Look, I'm gonna go to England with Don for 3 weeks," and I think Orthea told him something like, "Well, you go ahead on, and then you just keep on going."
Oh,
yeah. So Buster didn't want to give the gig up, is what it amounted to. So I ended up getting that.
Right.
And 3 weeks in England turned into a lot more.
Right. But Buster ended up playing sometime with didn't he?
He did, I think, in the early days, kind of before I was around.
Okay. Yeah.
When they did some shows maybe at the Second Chance in Ann Arbor and the City Club. I think Buster was involved in some of that. I'm not certain about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I was.
He died real young.
Yes.
Yeah.
He played some gigs with Belgrave's big band that I played congas on. I remember doing that. So I played a few gigs with him.
Yeah, he was great.
He can play jazz. He can play funk. He's one of those drums who can do it all.
Absolutely, he had a really good, just that fat back thing.
Oh,
like
man,
like Jerome Spearman. That like Jerome's got that thing too, man.
Oh yeah.
I just love that.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so I did the Was thing, right? We're out doing that, and that was a really, really cool thing. Couple of records and all over the world. And in Don at the time was working very hard to establish himself as a producer. So all of the acts, all of the artists that Don worked with, Bonnie Raitt, Bobby McFerrin, Herbie Hancock, all these people would pass through our shows. So I was really, really fortunate to play with a lot of these people. As kind of one-offs or a couple of dates here and there, you know. And I can't say that I toured with Herbie Hancock, but I played a couple of songs with Herbie Hancock, and it didn't fall apart. It was, you know.
You played on Sunday. Was it that you played on the Sanborn show with Sonny Rollins?
I did, yes.
There you go.
That's a pretty. What they would do is they would rehearse during the day, like most of these shows. They would rehearse during the day and then shoot at night. Omar Hakim was the house band drummer. And Omar was supposed to do that segment, and he had to go do a session. So Hal Wilner, the producer, asked me if I would play the rehearsal, which was an incredible honor anyway. So absolutely. So I went and played the rehearsal, and he tapped me on the shoulder and when the rehearsal was over and said, "It's yours if you want it." So I had this incredible opportunity to play with Sonny Rollins. With TV. Like George Duke and Marcus Miller and all these people that I have no business being in the same room with, but they were blessed to, I was blessed to play with them.
Yeah,
and, you know, so it was a cool thing.
Obviously, you were supposed to be in the room with them.
Well, yeah, well, you know, I was just.
You were there, man.
Let me tell you about the Sonny Rollins thing. We're rehearsing with Sonny Rollins, right? And he is killing it. He's looking like he lives on the street, but he's killing it. You know, he's just playing. He's looking really weird, but man, he is just killing it. And I'm playing, and I'm sort of like into it and terrified at the same time. And somebody taps me on the shoulder. And I'm like, what? And I look around, and it's David Sanborn. And he looks at me, and he says, "It's effing Sonny Rollins, man." He was like as gassed to be in the same room with Sonny Rollins as I was. You know, I just thought, how cool is that? You know, how cool is that? You know. So, anyhow, so that's the Was thing, and then from that, I was really, really fortunate to. Don hooked me up with a singer-songwriter originally from Berkeley, Michigan, a guy named Marshall Crenshaw.
Yeah.
And I toured and recorded with Marshall for a number of years, and that got me into that sort of singer-songwriter thing. Yeah, AAA radio, you know, like the River, you know, that kind of thing. So from that, from Marshall, I played with a guy named Matthew Sweet, and another singer-songwriter named Freddie Johnston, and some Texas stuff, Darden Smith, Kelly Willis, all kind of singer-songwriter stuff.
That kept you on the road and on sessions and records that are getting some real radio play it was really cool. You know, that was an interesting time for the singer-songwriter thing because of AAA radio. We were on a bill with I was playing with this guy Freddie Johnston, and it was Freddie, Hootie and the Blowfish, and Sheryl Crow. And at the time, Hootie was the opening act. Wow. And Cheryl was the close. We were in the middle. Well, this tour was 2 weeks into the tour. Hootie's like the biggest thing in the country, right?
You know, so that whole thing moved up. You know, the billing changed. That was interesting to watch that, to be there, and you know, and see how that was. See the music business kind of happening right in front of you. You know. Yeah,
exactly.
So, you know, so that's sort of what I do and what I've done.
Nutshell.
Very, very.
Yeah, but along fortunate. The way, the Buzz Tones morphed into the Chisel Brothers.
Yes, oh, absolutely, and that's where I was fortunate enough to cross paths with one Thornetta Davis.
Exactly, and I saw that all happen too.
Oh yeah, I played with Thornetta for 12 years. It was amazing. You know, David McMurray actually introduced us to Thornetta. Thornetta was doing fashion shows and cabarets and stuff, hadn't really done any bar gigs.
She and the twins are sort of background singers.
Right, and they came to the red carpet. Any of y'all out there old enough to remember the red carpet? Come on now.
I came. You guys were doing the Lamont Zodiac and the Love Signs.
Yep.
One night a week, and you'd have Racy and David in the horn section with Lamont singing soul tunes and R&B tunes. And they would sing, the girls and Thornetta would be like background singers in that group.
Right. Yeah.
I remember I watched all of this happen.
That was good times, really good times.
Yeah.
Good times. You know.
And now look at Thorn.
I know, I love it. You know, one of the things that I wanted to talk about that you all mentioned this how things mix. You know, back with Was Not Was, I really think that my function there, I was the rock part of that equation. You know,
Sure.
Don was trying to mix this R&B, jazz, funk, rock thing, and I think that's where I fit in. You know.
Yeah.
And even when Ron, Otis, and I are fortunate enough to do these Concept Colors thing, I always tell him, dude, like, I'll just do the Neanderthal holding it down, and you play all the cool shit, you know. And that's, you know, and that seems to work out pretty good, you know. So
yeah, but you got some finesse too, buddy. You know, that's why
Yes, he does.
you couldn't
Yes,
be
he
a
does.
Neanderthal and play with those singer-songwriters because they want some finesse in what they did. And you wouldn't have played with Sheeta and Narala all those years ago if you couldn't have had some finesse in that. And you wouldn't have been able to get through that Sonny Rollins thing if you didn't have some finesse. You know, I'm going to argue with you a little bit on that, pal.
well,
you know.
thank you, RJ. You're very kind.
No, you know,
I just always respect the musicians that I play with, and just it's just such a blessing. It's just an amazing thing, especially after this year that we've all spent basically doing just this side of nothing. You know, I can't wait to make music with all of you guys again.
Well, you and I, Chris, because I play congas and drums, we've played a fair amount of gigs over the years.
We have,
and we will do some more. You know,
absolutely.
And we're neighbors too, of course.
Yes, we are, right down the street.
Yeah, about half a block, literally half a block. And you know what I saw yesterday was Trajano.
Oh, he doesn't live here anymore, though, does he? Or does he live in Florida?
He lives on Lake Point in St. Paul.
Come on!
I kid you not.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. So
right
he's our neighbor too. Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that funny?
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, double close. 3 houses off the clock.
Well, we got the drum thing here covered in Grosse Pointe Park, the lower end of Grosse Pointe Park. We got the drums. So don't any of y'all move down like Lake Point, Beaconsfield. Don't. We're good. We're good.
All right. So while we're doing all this talking, we should move over because now we have the great one of the most. I'm going to say this one time. Now you just mentioned Drum Spearman. I'm guessing all these drummers here that have talked so far know my friend Drum Spearman.
Oh yeah.
And maybe a lot of people who aren't in the audience don't know him, but Drum spent years and years on the road touring with Mary Wilson and the New Supremes. And he's played with all kinds of different Motown acts. And he's a great drummer, and he's one of my best friends. We talk on the phone or text pretty much every single day. And one day he looked over at me. We're watching this drummer play, and he goes, I think pretty much Skeeto can play anything he wants to if he hears it in his head. And that's Skeeto Valdez. So let's welcome Skeeto Valdez to the conversation.
Skeeto!
Whatever you are.
I have a horrible connection out here.
I see that.
And
You
there's
do.
a band waiting for me to come in and rehearse. But I wanted to say, hey, this is awesome. And Ron, you're a man. You were the inspiration for me to learn shuffle. And from that, all the blues stuff.
Yeah, me
came
too.
after. I just dived in. And thank you for you and letting me sub with the Chisels and hooking up with Donetta and the whole deal. It's a beautiful thing.
God bless you, brother.
Sir, I bow to you.
Ah.
And Ron Otis, shut up.
Yeah.
I love you, man. And Gayelynn, I learned a lot from her as well. I learned from all you guys, and I appreciate the hell out you. You know,
Okay.
I don't know how long my battery's gonna last. Oh, there's Larry. What's up, brother? Anyway, I don't know how long my battery's gonna last on this thing because I've been listening to everybody's testimony. What RJ you wanted me to discuss what I went through as far as the learn because it was
talk about whatever
really
we want to
weird.
here, man. It's a pretty open forum here. Guys been talking about this different
dig that.
aspects of the career.
Okay.
You know.
Well, okay. I remember they were talking about the first tour and that kind of thing. I was
Yeah, sure.
in Cooley High School, And little Carl Carlton had a hit record called Competition Ain't Nothing. And he went out on the road, and his manager was this old pimp guy who I knew. I don't know how I knew the guy, but he gave me a job at the old Soul Expression across the street from the Olympia Stadium called Stump the Drummer. We did it every year for 3 years, every Sunday night. And he didn't stump me until Herbie released Headhunters. When Herbie Hancock released Headhunters, that's the only time I ever got stumped in that 3-year period.
Yeah, but you
So
learned
I
it.
learned a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very cool. And I got to learn different styles, and I dived into every one of them as deep as I could go. You know my list, right? Every
Yeah. Trey
you
Anastasio,
play
King
it on.
Conga, Chubby Checker. Yeah, I know about you.
You're good at that.
I think his phone died.
Yes, you do.
That's as still as I've ever seen Skeeto.
Oh, there he is. Oh, he's back. He's back.
I see a lot.
Go ahead, Skeeto.
You back.
Well, he's
Skeeto.
frozen again.
We're gonna
You can always charge that phone up a little bit and get a better connection. Call back in 10 minutes.
right now.
We'll be here.
Uh-oh.
Ah,
Yeah, go charge your phone and then come back.
Yeah, charge your
Alright,
phone and
which?
get a better connection and call back in 10 minutes. We'll be here in 10
Okay.
minutes.
okay.
Yeah, we'll be here in 10 minutes. Come on.
Thanks.
Yeah. Hey, Larry.
Yeah.
You know, I used to come down to the Buzz Bar and watch you and Skeeto play together all the time.
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk about that when Skeeto comes back, you know. But I was thinking about you and the Drum Devils, you know, and I used to come out and play with you guys sometimes. But
Yep.
we just lost George Bennett, down.
Yes, we did. He was one of my very best friends. Very sudden.
I'm trying.
You know, the original Drum Devils were. It was when I wanted to get behind the other side of the board and record a record. In fact, I should say a CD from beginning till end. Even the photo shoot, the name of the CD, Taming the Dragon. The whole CD is pretty much a play.
Phone dying. I gotta try
Yeah.
to charge it.
Things, but the original, by the way, George Bennett and Dennis Sheridan. Those are the
Yeah, right.
three of us on the drum.
Running-
Skeeto, you need to log off. All right.
So yeah, he was a great drummer too. He was just he sort of was off the scene a little bit the last few years.
Yeah. Concentrating on family life.
Yep, he was actually raising his son, and his Daniel just started Wayne State last year. So, but yeah, it was definitely a shock. I'd spoke to him a week or two ago, I guess it was, and we were gonna go have lunch, but then I got a call from Tracy. I was playing a gig. I actually was playing a gig in church on Sunday, and he had passed on Saturday night. So
Yeah, I don't know if you guys ever knew George Bennett, but he was a very good drummer and an old friend. I saw you and George Bennett play with Dave Lieben.
oh yeah.
Remember that gig?
Yeah, that was one of Dan Lewis probably too.
Dan Lewis put that gig together. It was at the Detroit Jazz Center. I think Ken Kellett was on bass,
Oh yeah.
and Gary Shunk was on piano.
Wow.
Yep.
Do you remember
back in-
anybody else? I think
well,
it might have
back
been the whole band. I can't remember. There might have been a guitar player. I can't remember. I mean, I was very young.
Back in the day, that was pretty much a Joe LaDuca had a group. That was Gary Shunk, Tom Starr, Ken Kellett, myself, Joe, and Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
but that
it.
was, I think, was it Tom Starr? I think it was George on that one, though.
Yeah, on that one. But I'm saying those guys I was playing at that time. I was playing with those guys in some different configurations too.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in the day, again, Mr. Pangborn, did you do any of the Axles gigs with Orthea? Oh, I can't hear you. You're muted.
Ron Otis.
Hey,
Ron Pangborn?
Oh, at Pangborn.
Uh,
Ron
yeah.
Pangborn, you there?
Yeah, Ron Pangborn. Yes, I played at Doug's Body Shop with Orthea.
Okay, because we does anybody remember the Norma Bell band back in the 80s?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, that was Axles used to be crazy, like from Wednesday through Sunday, because Orthea would play from 5 to 9, and then
Yeah.
with a Wednesday through Friday for
Right.
Friday happy hour. You'd walk into that place at 5:30. It was like a rockin' nightclub as if it was 11 at night or something.
We would
But-
play there on semestrics. We played there like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or something like that. The same place.
Yeah, well, this was when it was good. Like, see, really going, you could go on a Wednesday and go in there at 5 o'clock, hear entertainment all night, till 2 in the morning. So you remember those days? Then Ron was talking about 6 night a week gigs and stuff like that. I was playing 6 nights a week a lot of times. Because those are the gigs. A lot of the bars were just. That's what you do. They'd have entertainment every night, as you remember.
I think
Yeah.
Sheila's trying to raise. I think Sheila wants to say something.
Hey, you guys, I wanted to know, number one, I did not know, Gayelynn, that you play percussion. Not that I see you all the time, but I didn't know. And Larry, so you play drums. What brought you over to, do you play drums anymore? Are you all percussion now? And what made you go ahead and dedicate to the percussion?
Well, I've always been a drum fanatic, and I used to be. I was the guy in high school, and I was in Michigan State's marching band my freshman year, and I was a drum set player, but I was very intrigued about how to get all those sounds out of a drum without using the medium of the stick. And I was very much a fanatic of trying to play all these different drums from around the world, and the different finger techniques, and how you can have a little frame drum and sound like a whole drum set, which, by the way, is what the drum set is imitating anyway, ethnic percussion sections, or some of these, like a guy on a pandeiro from Brazil, he can sound like the whole samba, the whole escarole, I guess, or batucada band, all percussion. And then, like I say, out of a conga, or just some skin stretched over something without, they said, the medium of the stick. And I don't play that many drum. I switch sometimes with Stephanie, with Kid Rock, but there's a lot of drummers out there, and I usually get to play with. I play with a lot of people because they usually don't have a percussionist. I tend to come in and add that only, as it progressed. Back in the day, playing multi-percussion was a lot like the difference of a keyboard player or a piano player and a keyboard player, playing synth sounds, so as a percussionist, I was very intrigued. I wanted to play all the time too, and I heard a lot of other things. I wanted to be those colors, those textures, those where I didn't have to be a rhythm all of the time. Loved doing the rhythm, but trying to recreate all the sounds that I hear in the world. From birds to, it doesn't matter, the wind, water, so all these things intrigued me. And I think why a lot of people don't do it. It's a lot of work. I have a big family, and I can't, like, every year I start playing boron before with the Irish frame drum. They play with a bone. And I'll start practicing that a couple of weeks before St. Patrick's Day, just so my technique is up. And I noticed this last year, there wasn't really a St. Patrick's Day, and we weren't moving around a lot. Well, I came back this year and started messing with it. Even just that missing it the 1 year was like really, you're trying to get that back together. Playing Panda, different than playing a gospel tambourine or berimbau or what have you. It's a lot of work, and to keep up on all those things. So I think that's one of the reasons too you don't see a lot of people doing a lot of that and being adept at it. You really have to put some time into it and really love it.
Larry, how does one go about? I mean, like the berimbau. How do you decide you want to make that sound? But how does one go about learning an instrument like that?
Well, you have to go to the sources, and let's remember the first melting pot was Brazil, really, and you had the Africans, the Europeans, and the Indians or the native people. So you saw that coming together there, and like what really got me, of course, excited, the Sergio Mendes explosion with those are Brazilian guys, Paulino da Costa, Erto, things like that. That's where you really saw
Damo Murmao. Yeah.
Damo Murmao. That's a beautiful story too. One night I got to see Damo Murmao and Nene playing with Jan Garvik and M. Subramaniam. And
oh wow!
That was a trip with Nene.
Wow!
And actually, I take that back. It was Trila and
Trila Gutu.
Yeah.
And speaking of great percussions.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna. I had one more question, but you can finish your thought. The other question was with Ron and Ron. I often see two drummers, and sometimes in the big concerts or something, there will be two drummers and the percussion. So Ron and Ron, how do you determine who's playing what? Is it spontaneous, or do you know I'm gonna do this part and you do that part and you switch off? How do you play with that?
Yeah, well, like Ron Pangborn said earlier, we kind of just said, okay, well, I'll play some parts where I'll just keep the rhythm, or I'll just play some stuff where I'll play more fills, but we try to at least stay on the same page, because when you have two drummers, it can get too busy and then the groove could go away. But if you're on the same page, it'll sound really good. It's going to sound really big, but it's really good to have two drummers. It's just a certain feel. And it's just, I enjoyed it. So that's how we did
more
it.
Freedom, right?
Right. Well, you have to stay in a certain, without getting too much, because it can get out of control real quick.
What's really important for me when we do the Don thing is I need to see Ron's right foot. If I can see his right foot and see where it hits the head, I can.
You're synced in.
Yeah, that helps out a lot.
Yeah.
I saw a Pistol and Uriel do that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, well, that's stuff there.
Yeah.
And again, when we a couple of years ago with the Concert of Colors, it was a Motown. Was it the 75th anniversary of Motown or something like that? And we heard some of those tracks. Like a song like "Heard It Through the Grapevine." When you hear that there are two drum sets on there, it's remarkable. It's just remarkable to hear that stuff. And to try to recreate it, a little bit. Was a real blessing. It was cool.
Yeah, I mean, that was the first time I've ever done that.
One of the things. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Gayelynn.
I was just gonna say, you two Rons are probably the perfect people to be able to do that and not have egos getting in the way, because both of you two guys are such wonderfully sweet people.
Yeah. I second that, Gayelynn.
I do too. Pam has a question, and then we can go back, RJ, to Skeeto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skeeto!
Who had a question?
Pam, she has her hand up.
Pam, what's your question, Pam?
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Okay, let's say, for instance, I've always wondered this, like, say, when I go to a jam session and I watch, the musicians play, and different musicians come up and they join in, and I'd be wondering, how do they all know the song? So my question is, how does that work? Do y'all teach yourself all those songs, or how do y'all do that?
Well,
It's a language.
I think most of us
There you
a
go.
lot of us we grew up with the songs in the first place. I know I did. I grew up. There was just a certain
Soundtrack of our life.
there's a certain amount of standards or songs that we all grew up with that everybody knew. And it's
Yeah.
funny because each city has their own set of songs and some of them are just universal. Everybody know them, but it's just the songs that you might have grown up listening to and learned as a musician over the years. That after a while, when you get to the point where you're sitting in a jam sessions, everybody knows those songs, those particular songs.
Yeah.
All right, Skeeto, you're back.
Oh, Daddy loved jazz, Mommy loved R&B, and my sisters loved rock and roll. So I had everything in the house. Just all came together, and it was all good. As a kid, you don't know good or bad. You just like something or you don't like it, right?
Right.
It all comes to the beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But that was cool
Absolutely.
school first grade for me. So
But, I like the
She
question that.
about two drummers. Literally, when me and Larry and together, we were two drummers in a band together. And it was weird because we connect immediately. And
Yeah.
it was like
I thought many times.
we knew what to do on each side. It was amazing. Larry got all the recordings too, by the way.
I do.
You've been through.
I know. What are you gonna do with that, Larry?
I have to go through those
waiting.
actually. Maybe I shouldn't be
still
playing
here,
this-
so
Oh.
I got a shot.
Yeah, there's some
We gotta do it, man.
pretty amazing stuff on
Some
there.
amazing stuff on that bag. Yep.
Yeah, I was
Definitely.
that was one of those gigs where I'd walk out with maybe $10, maybe because I recorded everything that she did. I brought in a CD recorder, so I just had a guy mixing it, and so everything's stereo, so just track. But I
Very
record.
cool.
When I do gigs especially when I'm playing with wonderful cats like you guys and the guys we know and gals, I try to document it all the time because I hate for that stuff to be lost on the wind, So I always go back to, tape decks to mini discs to CD recorders to, I was always trying to capture it because, I say so many of the great musicians.
Most of those nights were
They're in
magic.
Yes. And so definitely I was
Yeah.
going to do that every night at the Buzz,
Oh man, you had a great thing going on up there. I love coming up there on Tuesday nights and being with you guys up there, man.
Yep. That was Thursdays, actually.
Thursdays, yeah. Thursdays, yeah. That was a beautiful. I had Tuesdays. You had Thursdays, yeah.
Yeah.
But there was a drinking and smoking going along,
We would hang out there. That was like I say, just a real nice. I wanted everything medium tempo and above, and the first set we did mostly weather report or challenging tunes, just with the rhythm section. Then bring people up late, the next two sets. But I was really wanted everything to be pretty much medium tempo and above. And challenging tunes. I didn't really want a jam session per se, in the sense of we would use the tunes as vehicles in the jazz format. So, and we would push ourselves. We like to put and try. And Jeremy Ellis, just a little genius. Our keyboard player, who's he's been
Monster.
but we couldn't pull off those weather report tunes in between. Either Pate Jase or James Simonson. We had the either Alfonso or Jaco.
Yeah.
Good revolving
Took some
group.
practice.
Yeah, from Jeremy when he could make it, or Wesley Reynoso or
Wow.
Otis, Or, I mean, we always had, you know, and I say we would definitely try to do some musical workout and, you know, keep the brain going. And I used to love to direct. I might have 2 people soloing, or I'm going, okay, we're going 4s all the way around and 2s, you know, now 1s.
Yeah.
A little is the Zappa approach, you know, where you can have fun. And people love that because, as Pam, I believe, asked earlier, you know, we know a language, you know tunes, but you know the language. It's just like we're speaking here. A song form, so important. And then be able to use that as a vehicle. Of course, 4 8-bar phrases, you know, that, you know,
Yeah.
so much of what we do. Yeah, that was a really fun time. Though. The Buzz Bar was
Que sera, sera.
after paying off, I walk out maybe with $10, tip the waitress, pay my guy to record every night. But, you know, real labor of love, because it was, that was like the gig. I would like, oh my God, Thursday's coming. I'd agonize over it. You know, like, okay, we got new tunes, or man, I'm going to be working Thursday night, you know. And then I said, setting up the guy with the leading the band, you know, whatever. It was a real labor of love, but it was work, but really joyous work, you know.
There's a hand up over Phillips.
Really drunk.
All right, I'm unmuted. I got a little video.
Hey, look at that.
I'm
Hey,
just running
Seth.
about town. I'm outside of Burt's.
Sure you are.
Bill Meyer started his thing up this week. But y'all did bring up a subject earlier, and it has to do with Larry, man, Larry Fratangelo, who I ran into back in the 70s when I think you were with Corcovado.
Cordova. Wow.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And is that about the time that you dropped the drums for percussion?
Well, I've never really dropped them because I would be doing like society gigs and stuff. I would be working with like the Warney Rule Big Band.
Sure.
Or like this guy would come in. Remember Art Carney from the Honeymooners?
Yeah.
His brother had a society band. And this goes back to like, I don't know, a while back, but they were doing continuous music. Like before you saw it sort of happening around here. He'd bring in some guys from New York and hire a drummer, and I think maybe I was the only hired gun.
When they used to do the thing on WJCZ and they did the nightly thing and they call off the different gigs, they got the weather report, probably 110th Street Congress running in the background, and they would call off all the clubs, and they'd always Delta Lady and you guys, Cordova, over there, and you were a killer drummer. I remember going to Gross Eel. We did a jam session where I don't know if that was your crib or not, but it was over on Gross Eel. Remember when you were out there, or are you still there?
That's a crazy family.
From Gross Eel. Yeah.
But
and we went to a crib over there, and we all had a session. I was with a group called Kathy Lamb and La Cruz Quartet. But Kathy Lamb, she had that. She had a whole nother kind of vibe. She just like doing like torch music, middle of the road bands is what they called that back then. A lot of Telegraph Road, but man, you were a killer drummer. And then suddenly, no more drums. It was like, this guy's a percussionist, and I really dug that. And they said, well, you know, he'd like to hear a lot more sound. He likes to hear sound.
You know, I mean, I was working so much because there wasn't a lot of guys doing what I was doing. You know, I created a niche for myself, really.
Yeah,
well, you were good enough to.
Well, Larry, so you were playing with Art Carney's brother. You got a story. You're in middle. You got.
Well, I was just saying that's when I first ran into continuous music, and you know, this is society gigs. He would be like,
I know about this. Yeah.
You know, so the only thing we had a bartender assigned to us, and he would just bring drinks because these guys, New Yorkers, and they obviously were really good drinkers in the society. To do that, if we're gonna play continue, good money. So that's that. But yeah, drumming. I still teach it. You know, I still teach drum set.
I know. Yeah.
There's a lot of drums. You can see. I mean, you know, really, RJ and I are probably the two that you could really say are more hand drummers and whatever. That's from what I know of everybody. Skeeto, you know, does his thing too. Ron,
Yeah, I love to say y'all over that building. Y'all, all you guys over that building with the graphic.
The buzz box very appropriately named.
Yeah. So, and then
I
It is.
never walked
That's all
out
over
of
the
there.
place.
people start pigeonholing you after a minute too, if that's what they see you doing. So,
Yeah.
Oh,
Skeeto,
yeah.
what's up, man?
I'm
What's up,
good. How
Skeeto?
you doing, Bill?
I'm good. I'm good.
With you. We got this
I
boys
got
back
lend me your
together.
ear.
now,
Lend me your ear.
Well, yeah, I have to put it up so I can hear it.
Gotcha.
You can see I'm in
I can see.
a room full of amplifiers, all old, like
Oh,
me. Hello?
By the way,
Guys,
Sean
I
just
lose
came
you
in.
again.
Well, God bless you for trying.
Yeah,
Sean just
we
came in,
rehearse
too.
here.
Yeah, we got Sean Dobbins in the room now.
all
He
right.
made it.
Y'all,
He's been
what's
trying.
up, family?
We've been talking. There we go. There you go.
What up,
All right,
family?
Mr. Dobbins. So you're on a gig right now.
He's in San Francisco or the Mackinac
See
Bridge.
you, brother.
What'd you say?
San Francisco Point. Yeah.
I'm in the back of the Dirty Dog, man.
You're playing with Steve Wood and Carl Cafagna.
Yeah.
Uh,
We had an adjustment at our set at the last second. They changed our quitting time.
You look a lot further away.
You said what?
You look a lot further away. Look like you're in San Francisco. I like that.
That's my look, man.
Okay.
It's a good look. We're glad to have you here, man.
I'm glad to be here with y'all, man. You know this.
Yeah. So are you living now in Indianapolis now, or Bloomington, or where?
No. I actually, believe it or not, I live in Manchester, Michigan, and I just I commute down middle of the week, and then I'm back home. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you put miles on a vehicle, don't you?
No, but you know what? It was funny because I was like nervous about it, and then I started counting the amount of time in the car that I was doing pre-Indiana. It's like I drive less now.
Wow.
And that's 10 hours. So it's been good though. It's been cool. Gayelynn, everybody.
Where are you
there's
teaching
people
at?
from
What school you
Oakland
at?
here? What'd you say?
What'd you say, Sean?
I was just gonna tell you that Deb and Amy and everybody's here from Oakland, and they're singing your praises.
Oh, yay.
They're singing your
I'm
praises.
having a good time up there too.
They love you. They love you.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you handing the torch to me.
That's your alma mater, isn't it, there, Gayelynn?
Yeah,
Right.
that's my alma mater, yeah. So I've gone full circle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gayelynn, did you study with Jimmy Allen?
You know what? When I met
That's a
Jimmy
question.
Allen, I was about I think I was about 5 or 6 years old, and he was playing with my father.
Mhm.
And I really remember him because he, Dad had rehearsals every day, so he would come every day. And
Wow.
And all of a sudden, at about 9, or at about 9 years old, he quit coming, and I asked my father. I was like, "Where's Jimmy?" And that's when he kind of had to tell me what happened, that he had passed away.
Oh,
But
wow.
I never got a chance to study, but I watched him a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
He
you remember that too.
yeah, he was teaching at Oakland when I was there.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Can I tell a Jimmy Allen story?
Yes, you can.
Can I break in?
Yeah.
I think about this all the time. Jimmy Allen had these turquoise Premier drums that he used to teach on. He told me he got them when he was playing with Sonny Rollins. And they had no bottom heads. They looked like they had the original top head. And they were pretty much falling apart. So we would all play our bits on these drums, And every time I would sit down on these drums, it would just bum me out. They just sound horrible, and I can't play anyway, and the drums sound horrible, and it's terrible. And then he would sit down and mumble something, and sit down and sound like the entire history of African American music in like 2 bars. It would just sound brilliant. And if I learned anything from Jimmy, it's got nothing to do with the drums. Nothing to do with the drums, you know.
All do the drummer.
I will never ever forget that. And whenever I see Turquoise premieres, always much love to Jimmy Allen for sure.
Right. Actually, George Davison took Jimmy's place after he passed. That's how I got with George.
Mm-hmm.
So that's who you studied with at Oakland.
Huh?
That's who you studied. That's when you were in Oakland. He was a drummer that you were studying with.
Who, George?
Yeah.
No, George I studied with at home. He took Jimmy's place at home.
Well, okay. Who did you study with at Oakland?
John. Wait a minute, Ron Johnson.
Oh yeah, Ronson.
Oh yeah.
Yep, Ron Johnson.
Yeah, very nice guy. And a heck of a drummer.
Yeah.
He played with Stanley Cowell.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. He died too young too.
He sure did. Him and Ron Jackson.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but good guy.
Y'all remember Ron Jackson, the drummer?
Yeah, oh man. Yeah. Black Jesus.
Yeah, right. Right.
He was a hell of a drummer. Man. Boy, he
Hey,
was like,
Sean. Dobbins.
yeah, let's get him in the conversation here, man.
I know you only has a few minutes.
Yeah, let's get you in the conversation here, Mr. Dobbins. Tell us about you, man.
What'd you say?
Let's get you in a conversation, man. You started with Lewis Smith.
Yeah. I met him when I was a middle school student.
Whoa.
And he was actually my band director in middle school.
In Ann Arbor.
And yeah, and then we just long story short, we just hit it off. Like we hit it off like father and son easily. Like it was that quick. And he I would spend lunch hours in his office hanging out. And I didn't know who I was like the level of what I was dealing with when at that time, I was only 7th grade. And so he was putting on recordings and showing me stuff and showing me records and showing me how he was playing with Dizzy Gillespie and Art Blakey. These are people I didn't know until he turned me on to him. But my best Lewis Smith story was a time where if everybody knows Lewis Smith, he dressed to the nines all the time. Yeah. And he dressed to the nines. Like he was one of the best dressed people I've ever seen. And he wore an ascot to school. That's how he was a middle school band director. He had a tie and ascot. He was ready. And so the only ascot I saw was on Thurston Howell on Gilligan's Island at that point.
Come on now. Thurston can rock an ascot. Come on now.
I went to Mr. Smith and I was like, excuse me, Mr. Smith. I was like, are you rich? And he was like, why do you ask me that? I was like, because you wear that funny tie like the guy on Gilligan's Island. And he cracked up. He went got his wife. He said, you wouldn't believe what this little dude just said to me. But we were family ever since. And then I was in his band. I was in his band after I was in the band for, I don't think I was in there for 4 or 5 years or something like that. But I was in his last quartet. So it was, and we just learned it. It was just a library every day. You come there to just learn. And that it was really nice to just learn from somebody, a master like that, who played with everybody,
Oh yeah, he's from Nashville originally, right?
He's in Nashville, Memphis. I thought it was Memphis, but yeah.
One of those two. Yeah. And then you also spent time in Toledo and played with Claude Black, I believe, right?
Yeah, he was another library. Claude was interesting because he had the old school encouragement. So my first couple of gigs there, he and Clifford Murphy, they had all these intense arrangements and stuff like that. And I was just, they were playing together for 40 years at that point, and I didn't know anything. They didn't write anything down, so there's no way to learn any of the music. And so I went to Claude and I was like,
it was all ear.
It's obvious I don't know. Yes, it's obvious I don't know what I'm doing. Can we get a rehearsal? And so Claude looked back at me and said, well, why do I need to rehearse? I know the music. You got to figure it out. And he just walked off. And then after the next couple of gigs, I didn't know any better, and I had two large drums for a trio, and I just didn't know any better. I'll just say it that way. And Claude came over to me, and I wasn't dressed. I didn't know how to dress yet for a gig. It was just a lot. I was real raw. Claude came over to me after a gig, and he was like, "Man, you need to get it together." And I said, "What's the matter, Mr. Black?" He said, "Man, first of all, you hit that bass drum too loud, and you hit it one time, and I was so scared I was gonna run under the piano. I thought somebody was shooting at me." And then he said, and look at your appearance. And this was deep, man. He said, "Now, if you take the way you look and add it to the way you play, I'm embarrassed to be on a stage with you." It was beautiful. It was that, but you missed all that stuff, man. You can't say that nowadays. So you can't say it. He's like,
how old were you when he told you this, man?
Huh?
How old were you when he told you this?
I had just turned 18. I just turned 18 years old, man.
Yeah.
And I had no sense, man. And so it was beautiful though. And then I drove home, and I drove home, and I told my mom what happened, and my mom wasn't the baby in tight. She was like, "For real?" She's like, "Well, maybe you should practice and dress better."
I met your mom. Nice lady.
Yeah. That's the difference between the kids now and us growing up, because we could take stuff like that. These kids, you can't tell them that now.
She didn't. She's like, "Maybe must get him a trophy after every lesson." Yeah, you can't say. No, I mean, you can't. That kind of tough love, because it's coming from a loving place. It's still love. It's tough though, and it's a different day now. And
that's what we grew up with.
Yeah, that's how you grew up. People would speak to you just like that. Like, man, get it together.
And they didn't sugarcoat nothing.
Right.
Well, I'm getting most stuff.
That was back when the whole village was raising the child.
Yeah. Amen.
Right.
Amen.
Right.
Because you can't, you can't go up on stage and be bullshitting around.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Now the internet is raising the children now.
Yep.
Hey, Sheila.
And now
Hey.
Y'all got me? Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Look out. What's going on?
The Jam-a-lot indeed.
Jam-a-lot.
Yeah. You better believe it.
Well,
All of
welcome to
my
the party,
heroes
Jam.
here, man. All of them. Could you imagine this moment for somebody just like me?
Oh, I know.
To see every single one of you who probably I've learned something from. I'm absolutely sure I've learned something from each one of you. And y'all telling stories like, with names and things, and I'm just outdone. But to me, there's stories to each one of you guys. Y'all gave me so much, in bits and pieces and sometimes big chunks. I got one thing to say about Larry. Larry say, "Show me what you can do." And I'm all hunched over the drums and I'm trying to play like I'm getting down. And he smacks me in my forehead.
I said, how long you want to keep playing?
Right,
get exactly. Together.
Exactly. And boy, was he right.
Would you say, Larry?
His posture. If you want to keep playing, you better get some good posture. You won't be able. Your back's gonna be all out.
I won't be able to finish the song.
You got to get some good posture. Know what you're doing there.
So there's been a few times since then that my hands are hurting, but my back is cool.
All right, we'll get to that later.
Yeah. Yeah. But I just want to say it's an honor for me to be here.
You know what you need, James? You need a gorilla sweat.
Yes. Yeah, it got some history too. Like I say, Skeeto, each one of them, I got Skeeto one time at Con Brio. Man. I was mixing up gorilla sweat for the fellas, but the same drink was an African violet for the ladies. So I'm moving this drink and it's just 100 proof Southern Comfort with some juices.
Yeah.
So
and no one remembers it.
Yes, Skeeto
Right.
Skeeto rode that train for a while.
Right.
He couldn't get off. He couldn't jump off the train. He just
Oh my
rolled
God.
it on out.
Well, we're still here, right? That's the thing.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
And
still
I
here.
believe this, the future looks great because due to the pandemic, it's a level playing field. It's almost like a starting line coming up, waiting on the green light, and everybody's just going to take off running. And I think some of these things that I've been hearing from all of you guys, the music that y'all putting out is some special stuff, you know. And boy, y'all could use a good Jam-a-lot.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mosquito, you were at a rehearsal. I'm glad you're rehearsing, man. Last night, out the other day, you know, you weren't
We
doing something. So that's
actually
good.
called it off, and we're going to do it Sunday. So
Where at?
Oh, this is at a personal home of a friend.
Okay, but you're playing. That's good. I'm glad you're playing.
And amazing collector, by the way, and an all-around good guy, even though he's you Republican, right? Yeah.
We forgive him, right?
Okay, we won't go there. But yeah, we're just getting some work done. Go in the studio and do a MC5-ish kind of punk rock thing.
Okay.
So it should be pretty cool.
Hey man, I'm glad you're playing, man. That's what I want to hear. You know?
All day today. I was in the recording studio with Dave Hamilton earlier.
Good.
It's been going all day.
That's what you're
And I'm
supposed to be doing,
loving
man. Yeah.
Loving it.
That's beautiful.
Loving it. Right. And I love all you guys. Can't wait to get back as you too. That would be fun.
Yeah.
All right.
With
All
the fun
right.
house.
Fun house.
Right.
That's a great band you have, Skeeto. And Phil's in that band. And yeah, you got a great group. John Douglas and Paul Randolph. That's a heck of a band. Do you have some dates booked at the Caju this summer?
I got lucky with them guys. Well, every summer Paul goes out with Alice or somebody from his crew. He's Mark Furner right now.
Oh, okay.
But he's in and out. He's in and out. So we plan things around that, or we reconfigure the band to make it work. And that's my headache. That's what I have to live with. When you got a diva. I mean that in the nicest way.
It's all good.
It's always fun with a diva.
Yeah. But it's a good band, man. You know, I came over and saw you guys over at the Caju, and you all were just throwing it down.
I love that band, man.
Yeah, I love
the
that band.
freedom, because you can't rehearse that. You can't put it together. It just has to happen on its own, like stream of conscious. It's a beautiful thing.
But
and you never know where a song is going to go on any given day. And I love that too. It all keeps you on your toes.
It sounds very natural.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Good deal.
You guys, what would you like coming back out into the after the pandemic? What would you like to see have changed? What would up your game, and as drummers, as musicians, as you know, the whole the entertainment industry? What would you like to see? If anything can happen, what would you like? You know, I know more money all the time. Yeah,
that was it.
What I would,
That's
been it right
We're all
there.
just saying the same thing, right?
You have to think about what it was like. You remember when every bar had a live band and every bar had stage production and every bar had lights, and they always had a little spot for the band reserved, and that I would like to see that back.
Yeah.
And yeah, that would be awesome.
PA systems in
And of
bars.
course, crowd.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
definitely like to see, I want people to remember what it felt like when all the entertainment was gone. And how they're coming out in droves now because they missed it so much. I want that to continue after things, seemingly get back to normal. Remember that.
Right, right.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
And
Right.
keep supporting, come on out,
Right.
Mhm.
And hopefully we don't lose any people that are afraid to come and congregate with large groups of people, which made it all fun, is to be able to get that many people together to enjoy the music.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
You know what's so cool about it now that I think about a situation where, as a matter of fact, Thornetta and Jamalot celebrated. I think it was Thorne's birthday, and they were performing over at Bird's, but we were across the street, hanging out very safely. We could hear them, and now that if everybody is on when they perform, they got the live, then you can be somewhere else. You can still be out there in the midst of everybody, but in a distance where you can see up close and all of that kind of stuff. So the internet has made a big difference in the variety of ways that people can receive entertainment, see entertainment, and see it up close, because you don't have the big screens, but if you have this and whoever produced it also made sure that it was live on the internet, man, that's
And it's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing. And especially if you can still monetize it, where you can be live like they would do the games, pay-per-view kind of thing, where you can still be safe, but you're outside with everybody, but you're also right here. You can see everybody up close. That would be cool.
Oh, yeah.
And we were talking about earlier that capability of everybody being able to rehearse and create music at, where somebody's in California and somebody is in New York. Like I think they call the Jam Kazam and Sound Scan or something like that. With them coming out with those type of programs, we could be anywhere. Like Tylene said, I thought she was over in Southfield. Here she's way in where is she at? Florida or something. So
Boca.
yeah, those type of technologies is what we need to up our game and spread ourselves out even more. So I'd like to also know what type of programs. I think we got about, let me see, 12 minutes. So what are your projects that you're working on, your personal projects that you're working on now?
Well, for me, when COVID hit, when everything shut down, it kind of forced me to get my drum studio together, which I always thought about doing it, but it forced me to get my stuff together to be able to record at home and send tracks out to people, and then they send me stuff and I play on it and then send it right back. So that's the one good thing I say that came out of it for me, without being working all the time, but being able to record from home has been great. I'm still looking forward.
Ron?
I haven't been teaching. I've gone over to a couple people's houses before, but not a whole lot. Yeah.
Okay. What are you working on, Ron?
Well, actually, over the pandemic, I really didn't do a whole lot of drumming. I did a lot of church music. I'm the music director of my church, and we would record the praise music every week. So that's been pretty interesting, because I play guitar. I play guitar and sing on that stuff. So that's kind of.
Was it on a virtual church?
Yeah, virtual church. Yeah, virtual church, because we're all. Yeah, so that's been really interesting to actually play guitar and sing and have it be recorded and have to critique it, and it's a challenge, but I'm enjoying it, and I've done a couple of things where I've built tracks, and I've played drums that way. I was a recipient of some microphones. The company that I work for closed down their TV studio and had a bunch of microphones that they didn't know what to do with. So I gave them something to do with them.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you know.
So now that things are starting to open up, you know, a lot of people are getting vaccinated. What are you looking forward to this summer, Ron?
Well, a lot of outdoor gigs. I'm slowly wrapping my head around the concept of playing indoors.
Okay, so who are you playing with outdoors?
Mostly, so far it's been mostly Jill Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of stuff with Jill Jack.
She's a hustler. She keeps busy.
Oh, she definitely does. Yeah. So we've got stuff all through the summer with her, and just some jazz gigs, John Denemy and Chris Berg.
I know him.
Yeah.
I know those two guys.
Yeah, kind of cocktail jazz, let's call it.
Just
Yeah.
And
it's fun.
last time I talked to you, Ron, you were playing a couple of gigs in Mexico coming up.
Yeah, with two different people. It happened to fall where same week. One is with Kim, and then another one artist named Jonathan Butler. So it happened. It landed in the same week.
Cool.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, it shocked me too, and I said, "Oh, this looks like it's the same place." So that worked out. Very thankful for that. But yeah.
So do you have some other things going on this summer coming up?
Well, I think a lot of times I talk to Kim and his management. They're really not going to do really some serious touring until probably 2022 because Live Nation does a lot of the touring stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe a few things pop up, but not a whole lot. Probably.
Do you play in the church or anything?
My church shut down. They was just doing virtual and just a preacher, maybe an organist here and there, but that's been pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is Sean Dobbins, you still here?
I am here.
All right. So what you are always a busy drummer. Tell us what you got going on.
Let's see. I've just got I got a lot of concerts planned for the rest of the summer, which is nice. And I'm doing a jazz camp for Ann Arbor Public Schools.
Nice.
And then then planning to I have a camp that I do for my own. It's called it's a virtual jazz drum set camp. And it's just it's an opportunity for kids around the world to get a chance to come in. We do like an online camp, get feedback and meet other people, just get a chance to meet people that are not in your area, and make some friends and branch out a little bit. So it's whatever, it's what we're all doing, man. And really, my big touring thing is this to-do list that my wife has for me for the summer. So I'll be touring around my house, cleaning. It's like your chariot is a quick pumpkin as soon as you get home. So it's like she has like all kinds of projects and don't make plans on this day, and we're gonna be doing, so that's gonna be fun. And then I got my youngest daughter's moving to Atlanta in the fall, so we're getting ready for that. And
you got a son that's a drummer.
Family. I have a son who is a great drummer, man.
Yes, he is.
He is completely better than his old man now. He is a really
you
great
guys got to
drummer,
see
man,
this
and I
kid
can't
play.
Wow.
He can play, man. Yeah, he can.
Do you double drum with him?
Yeah, we do sometimes, man, but you can only take a beating for so long. And you know what happened with him is my son was an athlete. So every father, you have your son and you like, okay, we go play basketball. And like, since 5 years old, he dreamed of the day that he was going to beat me. Like, that's it. And so we would go, and I would never like beat him bad. I would always keep him encouraged. And I realized there was a time the one game I was playing serious, like I was seriously playing, and he beat me I think it was like 11-2 or something like that. And he's like way taller than me now. So I mean, and he beat me soundly, and then let me know. It was like, yeah, Dad, I told you, like, I'm better than you now. Like, you showed me some stuff. I appreciate it, but yeah, Dad, I've been really working. So I said, all right, I can live with that. My son's better than me in sports, but I always got the drums. And then he got really serious about music. And then you know, and he's like my wife. He like shoots straight from the cuff. So we were playing and he was like, I had a gig and he checked it out. And I got home and I was like, you have fun, man? He was like, man, did y'all rehearse? He was like, did y'all rehearse? I was like, no, I don't think we rehearsed for this. And we got it. He was like, yeah, man, because the time was funny sometimes, man. He's like, here, you should check out what we're doing. So him and his friends sat down and recorded themselves, and they recorded themselves in a way where they could check the sound waves from each musician and figure out if they're locking up.
Wow.
So he's like, man, watch what we're doing. I mean, they're so deep into it. And I realized, I was like, man, he's so deep into this stuff. And I was like, man, I need to like get it together or I'm gonna lose another thing 11-2 from this dude. So but it's like
how old is he now?
He's 17, man, and he's just I'm like, and he's like everything, like I would take, he's tall, man, like I'm like, I'd take that. He's like, so he's you know, but no, I'm proud, like it's like the greatest day. My hope, I'm excited for the day when someone calls me and like, hey man, you know I love you, man, but I really want to do a gig with your son. And that's gonna be my proudest day. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm like, I'm gonna be screaming like, man, you know, the day is coming. I'm really excited about it. So I'm really proud. I know I've been saying a bunch, but I'm just really proud of him. He's really happening, you know.
All right. Now, Gayelynn, we got to hear from you because we only got about 4 minutes left here. So, Gayelynn, what do you got coming up this summer?
Well, as most of you probably know, I released a CD.
Yeah, it's kicking too.
Oh, thank you, RJ. It's called Zoot Suit Funk, and I got Demetrius and Ibrahim and Trinita Womack and Raphael Staten on there, and Alex Annis on guitar. So we've been doing a little bit of playing. I'm going to be at Cliff Bell's with that band June 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and then we're doing the Lansing Solstice Festival on June 26th, and the Dirty Dog in August. But I'm also playing with Ralph Armstrong every Friday and Saturday at Baker's. And that's been fun. Him and Gerard Gibbs, and so I'm doing that every Friday and Saturday. And of course, I'm teaching private lessons virtually, and I went across the street. I live out here in Canton, and I just started teaching at the School of Rock.
All right, so you're keeping busy.
I'm
paying some bills.
I'm trying because I got a lot of stuff that I need to take care of. So
yeah, I understand.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So Skeeto, we got. Let's hit on you real quick. What you got coming up? Anything coming up? You want to plug?
Just some scatter outdoor stuff because most of the guys don't want to play inside yet, even though they've supposedly cleared that. They want to only play outside with the social distancing and things. So I'm talking about going back in. The weather is definitely right for it. And I got a bunch of different types of things, freelance work coming up.
Good.
Like tomorrow I'm at the doing a jazz trio.
Who are you with?
Where I'm at, but the phone is blowing up again, so that's a beautiful thing.
All right, Larry, let's get to you.
That was very non-specific, wasn't
it? Well, let's see. Bob's got some gigs starting Kid Rock in July, and then Audio Birds has we do a lot of private things, so we've got that's been really picking up. And then some recordings from some of my cohorts that need some percussion.
Terror of the Coffee House.
But when I, over the pandemic last year, I had to move out of my studio for 22 years. They turned that into they're turning it into an artist housing, which is an interesting thing too. Artist housing with no noise restrictions. That ought to be interesting. I think they're thinking it. But I'm in the process of starting the Detroit Drum Devils Drum Collective, where I'm going to, I've got talking to some of my shooter friends, where we're looking for a place. which we're doing. We've been experimenting with stretching different skin over different drums, from horse to Venezuelan calf to, and then inventing a reconfiguring. Like, for instance, some cuicas made out of just plastic buckets and Coke bottle straps done. I play it out, Ron. I'll use it out on our gig we play on Wednesday. But like a collapsible barrel bow we're working on now, where you can take that barrel bow apart, fold, where you can. It'll be 3
Larry, you gotta put out those buzz bar recordings too.
And that too. So, but anyway, I was tearing down the studio all last year, slowly but surely, and cleaning everything, because that place, was the original Lincoln plant. So I've got everything down my basement, and getting ready to move over when we establish
destination. Yeah.
We're looking for a venue somewhere like in that 696 corridor, and then have a spot. We want to have a little cigar loungy type area in the back. When I say that, where it's nice seating and blah blah. So when drummers come to town, we can invite them after their shows if they want to come by and have a quiet evening or whatever.
Yeah,
So-
right. Quiet. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Guys, we are at our 9 o'clock. We're at 9:01. I want to hear what RJ, he's always up to some things, but before you do that and close it out, I want to remind everybody that in the morning, musicians morning, which is 1 o'clock, we have sources of money where you can get money, especially if you're in trouble and stuff, need some help, health and wellness, and recreating yourself during these tough times. And we have, let me see, Al Bracey, and who's our moderator, Leslie, who's been hanging out with us for the last all week, really. She is going to be sharing, and I'm trying to read this. Butter Hawkins, Liz Laren,
Wow.
RJ Smith, and BJ Smith, and Roger. I don't know how to say his name. Anyway, he's over there at WJZZ Radio.
I know Roger, yeah.
Yeah. And then we have the wonderful horn players tomorrow evening. And Bill Meyer is the host, John
Moderator.
Douglas, Keith Kaminsky, Dave McMurray, Alan Denard, James Carter, and Casey Biggs.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
You know what? It's like, oh, Sheila, you know all these masters. It's just that we're all the same age, and we done had 30 years of doing something.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Make us all masters in what we do. I thank you, and I just want to give, thank my husband for doing this together, a project, City of Arts. Go and join the City of Arts group on Facebook,
Right.
because then you can post what you're doing and what you need and stuff. We can talk in that group setting. So RJ, you can take us on out. We have music right after this, and tomorrow night, me and Philip will be featured our new music from 9 to 10.
Oh, I want to hear that. Yeah.
Nice.
We already got throwing out some videos already. Go ahead, RJ.
Sheila, can you catch it later? Sheila, can you hear this stuff later?
Yes.
Because I won't be able to.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. If you want to know what I do, you go to rjspangler.com, rjspangler.com. But I'm playing next Tuesday at the Detroit Shipping Company over in what we now call Midtown, what we grew up calling it Cass Corridor. And I'm playing on the 4th of June at a place called East Eats over near Connor and Jefferson. And it's just a 1 hour, or it's like a 70-minute jazz concert. And this is from I raised $5,000 in donations to put on a bunch of jazz concerts in the Jefferson Chalmers neighborhood, like pop-up jazz concerts.
Nice.
And, so it's like a 7-piece band I have with Kassan Belgrave and T-Bone Paxton and Damon Warmack and some other guys. So come out and hear us. And that's all I had to say.
And thanks, Giselle. Leslie, thanks for joining us again. Angela, thank you for joining us. And
you're welcome.
We love you. Peace out and prosperity.
All right, gentlemen.
Thanks.
Yeah, that was
It was
great.
a pleasure. Pleasure working with all you guys.
Absolutely.
The drummers
What an honor.
Fantastic.
What a wonderful
Pleasure,
show.
everybody.
And a hell of a ride.
Pleasure.
Love you guys. Gayelynn, every one of you. I love every one of you.
We're gonna make pleasure's all mine. Peace and love to all you guys. We got some Thanks for all your help. We got some better days ahead. Don't you worry, my friend. Now don't you fret. I'm here to say the very best is coming yet. We got some better days. We got some better days ahead.
That's my only bass out. That's the bass amp. That's what they call flip top. Actually, that one thing right there, you flip it upside down.
Just let your worries carry you away. The dark before the dawn will always seem so low. But don't you ever lose your faith. I got this feeling and it's telling me if we just hang on, if we just believe, we got some better days. We got some better days ahead. There's no reason for the frowns, no reason to be down, no reason to believe it's always got to be this way. In just a little while, with just a little smile, it won't be long before we all can say. Telling me we just hang on if we just believe it. We got some better days. We got some better days ahead. Don't you worry, my friend. Now don't you fret. I'm here to say the very best is coming, yeah. Got some better days. We got some better days ahead. We got some better days. We got some better days ahead. Oh yeah, we got some better days. We got some better days ahead. Got some better days
Listen, friends, I want to sing a song for you. Nothing else I can do before I go. I love to sing to live. Singing for you just suits my soul. sing for you. I think you wouldn't understand when life has put me through. Music is a medicine. Love that comes and aching heart. I know it's deeply. Oh, that saved my life. She struggled like me. I love that girl, and now I bring her spirit to
with Aretha Franklin, Martha Reeves, Groove Holmes, Bob James, and many more. You can see him and his guitar every Tuesday at Burt's Marketplace in Eastern Market.
That's right. OGB featuring Perry Hughes joins us live in studio today. Thanks for being with us on Live in the D.
Thank you for having us.
So you play at Burt's every Tuesday. Tell us about that.
Every Tuesday. We started last week.
Okay.
So it's actually something new.
Oh,
cool. Who'd you bring with you?
I brought with me Gene Dunlap on the drums.
Hey, Gene.
And Gerard Gibbs on the organ.
All right. Organ, drums, and what are you playing?
Guitar.
Guitar. That's what I thought. Sometimes it's something different. All right. All right. So tell us what you're going to play for us.
We're going to actually play a composition that was written by Wes Montgomery entitled OGD.
OGD. All right. Well, let you take it away.
I'm not a pagan. KFIO1 dispatch channel.
Wayback Machine stuff. Come on. I didn't know I had it in me, but damn. Thank you. Wow.
Smell of darkness and the taste of heartbreak. It's the blood in my mouth, fear that overtakes me. You're not a lost child, child forever. Fear the devil's sword and the cloak and dagger. Fear the devil's sword and the cloak and dagger. We're wanderers lost wandering, and all that's built that's caving in. Now it's time to let go of all you thought was real, and I hope that you can swim. The otherness of other, it's just the motherness of mother. The lost souls found in that lostness, and it's the right place, and it's the right time. It's all in your heart, it's all in your mind. Free your mind, break free this time. Free your mind, break free this time. 100 nights rain down upon us when the chains are rattling past the warning sign. Take a deep breath, we're diving now. Don't fear the darkness, it's where the answers lie. Don't fear the darkness, it's where the answers lie. We're wanderers, lost wandering. It's all that's built that's caving in. Now it's time to let go of all you thought was real. I hope that you can swim. The otherness of other, it's just the motherness of mother. The lost souls found in their lostness. It's just a right place, it's just the right time. It's all in your heart, it's all in your mind. Free your mind, break free this time.
around for my shoes. You know about that, baby. That is walking blues. Over this small building. Around for my shoes. You know about that, baby.